Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take your sources and extract the insights you actually need to know.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We've got a really great custom-tailored dive just for you today.
We really do. So I want you to picture this scenario for a second. You apply for a job that you are, frankly, perfectly qualified for.
Right, checking all the boxes.
Exactly. You hit submit on the application, and exactly 1.2 seconds later, a rejection email lands in your inbox.
Ouch. That is rough.
It is, because no human being ever even saw your resume. An algorithm just scanned your data, decided you weren't a fit, and completely closed the door.
And, the crazy part is that this isn't some sci-fi dystopian novel. It is the very real, current reality of the corporate landscape.
Yeah, artificial intelligence has completely moved beyond just generating images or, drafting your emails. It is increasingly acting as your boss, your HR department, and your recruiter.
That invisible shift is fundamentally altering the power dynamic of the modern workplace.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we've rapidly transitioned from consumer algorithms that, just recommend what movie you should watch on a Friday night to enterprise algorithms that recommend whether or not you should be hired or promoted or even retained.
Right. The stakes have totally moved from your entertainment to your livelihood.
Exactly.
So our mission today is to unpack a single, really comprehensive source for this deep dive. It's a research article titled Human-Centered AI, Strategic Imperatives for Algorithmic Workforce Fairness by Dr. Jonathan H. Westover.
It's a fantastic piece of research.
It really is. And we are going to explore how organizations can actually use AI fairly without completely alienating their workforce and, what this means for your own career survival.
Which is something everyone needs to be thinking about right now.
For sure. Okay, let's unpack this. We cannot begin to fix the AI problem until we understand exactly how heavily organizations are relying on it and, honestly, how much employees resent it.
Yeah, the adoption rate we're seeing right now is just staggering. Dr. Westover cites this 2023 Gartner survey that found 79% of Fortune 500 companies are using AI in at least one HR function.
Wait, 79%?
Yes. Almost 80% of the biggest companies in the world.
Uh-huh.
And it goes so far beyond just, screening resumes for keywords.
Right. What else are they doing with it?
Well, they're assessing video interviews, literally tracking microexpressions. They are running predictive models to figure out your flight risk.
Flight risk, like if you're going to quit.
Exactly. They look at data points like how long it's been since your last promotion or even your digital communication patterns just to guess if you might leave in the next 6 months.
That is wild. But, you look at the financial sector, and it's obvious why they do this. Major banks get tens of thousands of entry-level apps every single year.
Oh, the volume is massive.
Yeah, so by using AI to screen all those applications, they've actually cut their screening time by 75%.
Right, 75%. From an efficiency standpoint, the appeal is obvious.
Definitely. But that efficiency comes with a huge trust deficit. The 2023 Edelman Trust Barometer shows that only 35% of employees actually trust their employer to deploy AI ethically.
Which is terrible. When 65% of your workforce views this new technology with total suspicion, you have a massive cultural problem.
Absolutely.
Employees know these systems are making high-stakes decisions in the background, and history gives them a very valid reason to be super skeptical.
Okay, I hear that, but I have to play devil's advocate for a second here. Isn't a machine inherently unbiased since it just processes data?
Right.
To me, an AI HR system is just a hyper-efficient manager who only reads spreadsheets and never talks to anyone. How does it actually become sexist or ageist?
What's fascinating here is that AI does not invent bias out of thin air. It scales historical human bias.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it basically acts as a highly efficient mirror to an organization's past decisions. You remember the high-profile Amazon case from a few years ago?
The one where they had to scrap their whole resume screening AI?
Exactly. They built this sophisticated algorithm and trained it on 10 years of their own historical hiring data.
Right.
But because the broader tech industry and Amazon's engineering department specifically were historically male-dominated, the algorithm just mathematically deduced that being male was a prerequisite for the job.
Wow. So it just looked at the past and said, oh, mostly guys get hired, so I should only hire guys.
Yes. It didn't even know what gender was, but it found proxies. It literally began systematically downgrading resumes that included the word women's, like women's chess club captain or graduates of all women's colleges.
That is crazy. So the machine learned to be discriminatory because we fed it a discriminatory history.
Exactly. And Dr. Westover mentions another huge failure with HireVue. They had this controversial facial analysis tech for video interviews.
Right, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, they eventually had to drop it because independent auditors just couldn't prove it wasn't biased against different demographic groups or, neurodivergent candidates who might have different facial movements.
So there's this massive gap between how fast companies are buying this stuff and how fast they're actually governing it.
A huge gap. There's a Society for Human Resource Management study showing that only 24% of companies using AI in hiring actually audit it for bias.
Wait, only 24%, so the vast majority are just flying blind.
Flying blind and exposing themselves to massive liability. That lack of governance led to over $45 million in legal settlements in 2023 alone.
Just from algorithmic bias.
Just from algorithmic bias. If you don't govern the math, it eventually takes a massive financial toll.
That is staggering. But the financial cost is really only part of it. The article really dives into the psychology of fairness here.
Yes, the human element.
Right, like why humans react so negatively to machine errors compared to human errors. Because employees care about three types of fairness.
Distributive, procedural, and interactional.
Exactly. Distributive is just, are the outcomes equal? Did I get the job? Procedural is, was the process transparent? And interactional fairness is, was I treated with basic human dignity?
And that interactional fairness is where algorithms just completely stumble. Because fairness isn't just a math problem, it's an emotional experience.
Totally.
Psychologists call this algorithm aversion. Research shows people are incredibly unforgiving of machine errors, way more than human errors, especially for high-stakes stuff.
Because we expect machines to be perfect.
Right. If a human manager denies you a promotion, you might think, oh, office politics, or they were having a bad day. But if an algorithm does it, and it's flawed, we lose all trust in the system.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. There was a study of 5,000 job applicants that perfectly captures this algorithm aversion.
Oh, the recruitment penalty study.
Yeah. They found that if a company used an opaque algorithm-only screening process, the company's attractiveness score dropped by 31%.
Wow.
And the craziest part, that 31% drop happened even for applicants who were going to be rejected anyway.
That is so telling.
I mean, people would literally rather be unfairly rejected by a flawed human being than fairly rejected by a machine they don't understand.
Well, it comes down to the perceived humanness of the system, right? Our work is our identity. We want our effort to be witnessed by another human.
Yeah, being discarded by lines of code just feels like an assault on your dignity.
Exactly. So this brings us to how we actually fix the black box. Dr. Westover points to human-in-the-loop systems.
Right. This is where you force the AI to explain itself and keep humans involved. It makes me think of a commercial airplane.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Like, the autopilot is an AI, and it flies the plane super efficiently, but you absolutely want a human pilot in the cockpit to override the system if there's a sudden storm.
You need the machine for scale, but the human for judgment. And to do that, you need explainability. No more black box algorithms.
And a black box is basically when the AI is so complex that even the developers don't really know how it got its answer, right?
Exactly. Data goes in, an answer comes out, and the middle is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But MasterCard figured out how to fix this with their internal talent marketplace.
Oh, this is the system that matches employees to new projects.
Yeah. It uses AI, but instead of just saying yes or no,
Okay.
it gives you a match score and explains exactly why you didn't get picked.
Oh, wow. So it tells you what you're missing.
Yes. It might say you lacked this specific technical skill, and then it gives you a link to the training to get that skill.
That is brilliant.
It is. And it resulted in an 82% satisfaction rate with the system.
Because it's procedurally fair. It's transparent.
Right. And then you have JP Morgan Chase. They use a hybrid approach for campus recruiting. The AI scores the massive pile of apps, but humans are literally required to review the borderline cases.
Mandated human oversight.
Exactly. And in 2023, that saved over 200 hires that the AI would have unfairly rejected.
200 people got jobs because a human pilot was in the cockpit.
Yeah. And hybrid systems actually outperform either humans or algorithms working alone. Plus, when data scientists have to make their models explainable, they actually build less biased models to begin with.
Because they have to scrutinize their own work.
Precisely. They can't hide behind the black box anymore.
Okay, so hybrid systems fix the tech. But even if the AI is perfectly fair and transparent, people are still terrified of losing their jobs.
Oh, the anxiety factor is massive right now.
Yeah, PwC found 37% of white-collar workers fear AI is going to make them obsolete. And honestly, looking at the skills gap, it's a valid fear.
It really is. LinkedIn's 2024 report shows the half-life of a professional skill has dropped from 15 years down to just 5 years.
5 years, meaning half of what you know right now will be useless in 60 months. That is terrifying.
It's a recipe for chronic workforce anxiety.
So Dr. Westover says the antidote is a billion-dollar upskilling initiative. But, I mean, doesn't this feel a bit like running on a treadmill that's constantly speeding up?
It can feel that way for sure.
Like, how is an employee supposed to do their 40-hour-a-week day job while constantly having to learn brand new, highly technical skills?
This raises an important question, and the answer is that smart companies don't do it like a traditional classroom. They use microlearning.
Microlearning. What does that look like?
It's integrating the training directly into the workflow. So instead of a 2-week boot camp, it's a 5-minute interactive module on Teams or Slack between meetings.
Ah, so it's frictionless.
Exactly. And the data shows employees who get this kind of upskilling are 2.5 times more likely to view the AI systems as fair.
Because they feel like the company is actually investing in them?
Right. AT&T is the gold standard here.
Yeah.
They realized their workforce had legacy skills. So instead of mass layoffs, they invested $1 billion into reskilling.
$1 billion. That is a massive commitment.
They transitioned 50,000 employees into new technical roles. And as a result, organizational fairness perceptions jumped by 40%.
Because they taught the employees that the AI is their tool, not their replacement.
Exactly. Accenture did something similar with their New Skills Now program. When AI automated their contract analyst jobs, they spent between $15,000 and $25,000 per employee to reskill them.
Wow. And did it work?
They saved 93% of those jobs.
That is incredible. But it requires the company to fundamentally change the unwritten rules of employment, right?
Yes, you can't just throw training at people. You have to change the culture. Dr. Westover calls this participatory design.
Okay, participatory design. Tell me about the Microsoft example.
So Microsoft has this program called Fairness Champions. They get volunteer employees from totally outside HR or engineering like sales or customer service to test the AI before it launches.
Oh, I love that. Real people testing it.
Yeah, and these volunteers found a massive bias the developers completely missed. The AI was penalizing resumes that had prolonged employment gaps.
Which mathematically makes sense. It just sees missing data.
Right, but the Fairness Champions pointed out, who usually has multi-year gaps on their resume.
Oh, caregivers, people raising kids or taking care of sick parents.
Exactly, mostly women. The AI was inadvertently discriminating against them.
Wow. So by having diverse employees participate, they caught the bias before it ruined anyone's career.
Yes. It's about recalibrating the psychological contract. The old deal was loyalty for job security.
Right. Work here for 30 years and get a gold watch.
Exactly. But the new deal has to be adaptability for employability.
Adaptability for employability. I like that.
Siemens did this beautifully. They brought advanced AI into their manufacturing plants, and the workers were understandably freaked out.
Right. Terrified of being replaced by robots.
So Siemens gave them a guarantee. They said, if you commit to our reskilling programs, no one will be involuntarily fired due to automation.
A total guarantee of safety.
Yes, and that radical psychological safety led to 35% faster AI adoption.
Because the workers weren't fighting it anymore.
Exactly. In low-safety environments, people hide their vulnerabilities and sabotage the tech. In high-safety environments, they eagerly use the AI to eliminate the boring parts of their jobs.
So what does this all mean? Summarizing all of this, algorithmic fairness isn't just a math problem. It is a human resources challenge.
At its core, yes.
Procedural fairness, transparent design, and massive investments in human capability. That's really the only way to build a functional, AI-augmented workplace.
The companies that respect human dignity are the ones that will survive this transition.
Absolutely. Well, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on, something that builds on Dr. Westover's research.
Let's hear it.
We've spent this whole time talking about how your employer is eventually going to use AI to evaluate your performance, predict if you're going to quit, and determine your promotion.
Right.
But AI is getting cheaper and more accessible every day. So how long until you, the employee, start deploying your own personal AI to appeal those decisions?
Oh, wow.
Imagine using your own personal algorithm to negotiate your salary and actively fight their HR algorithm with yours?
Hmm.
Will the future of HR just be two bots endlessly arguing over your worth?
That is a wild thought.
Yeah.
A literal battle of the algorithms.
Right. It's definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the algorithms around you, and we'll catch you next time.